Payton Nyquvest, Numinus. We're in Miami.
We're in Miami.
How's things, brother?
Things are good. Things are good.
How's the first day of Wonderland, Miami? What's your big takeaway?
You know, it's nice. The interesting thing with the industry is it's been an industry that totally birthed during COVID, so nobody's done
100%.
the in-person thing. So it's nice to, I think that the biggest takeaway for me is there's still a lot of interesting collaboration in the space.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of competitiveness. People are very excited, obviously, and keen about where they feel the industry is headed, and it's nice to just get everybody in the same room.
What was I know, am I taller, shorter than what you're imagining, or what?
Way more handsome than I was expecting. So
Too funny. What's some of the stuff you're hearing? I know that you're one of the leaders in the space. We've talked about this a number of times in virtual interviews, but who's the people that you've met with, and what's the feedback as to what they like, what you're doing right now?
You know, so two things. One is the financial supporters, the institutional supporters. There's still there's continuing to be more and more interest in the space.
That's what I'm hearing too.
I think, you know, you're starting to see more focused support, whether that's from biotech, healthcare. They're getting very keenly interested. And I think there's been a lot of education that's happened in the space.
Yeah.
I think so the questions are becoming a little more focused. People are understanding a little bit of where the space is maybe headed.
Yeah.
Regulation's getting really interesting at the moment as well.
I will say this in day one, efficacy data that's being produced, institutions out of New York are getting very, very interested in this. I know, you know, investors are obviously eagerly wanting this to grow, and there's been some, you know, challenging times to say the least as far as share prices. But overall, for the people that haven't made it, what would be your, I guess, takeaway message for them as we move forward with this industry from an investment standpoint?
I think, you know, it's funny, we get feedback all the time, like people are going like, wow, you guys are really looking at this from like a 3 to 5 year standpoint. That's really great. And I think, who isn't?
Right.
Why would you know, there's a big opportunity here. Everybody talks about this paradigm shift in healthcare. That's not going to happen in 6 months.
No. No.
The data is super compelling. Regulators are already making changes, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And in saying that, it's really exciting, right? Like right now is a very, very exciting time to start to recognize who's, you know, really here to make a significant difference, and who's got the infrastructure and team in place in order to do that, and who's got the capital.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What's were you involved in any panels at the event?
I did a keynote.
What was that about?
We talked a lot about where psychedelic therapy fits as an intervention within the healthcare system. And, you know, I think one of the things you've seen a lot of is people are looking at how does psychedelics affect certain indications, right? And that data is really, really important. But the reason why the psychedelic industry is here is because we've recognized current treatment has limitations, and there's this massive burden on the healthcare system.
100%.
So why are we talking about putting psychedelic therapy at the end of a patient journey? Treatment-resistant depression, treatment-resistant PTSD. That's not alleviating the pressure on the healthcare system. You have to talk about where does psychedelic therapy fit as an intervention. We believe it should be a standard of care. We believe it should be at the beginning, potentially, of a person's life cycle in their healing journey. And
so when you say that, people listening and they agreeing?
They totally get it.
Yeah.
And you know, again, we already know certain SSRIs are, you know, looking to be very ineffective for certain mental health disorders. And again, if we're here to try and alleviate the burden on the healthcare system, then let's alleviate it. Let's put it at the beginning. Let's not wait until it needs to be at the end and then have it be an adjunctive therapy at the end.
Important to understand too, and you bring up SSRIs, probably one of the greatest inventions of the 20th century back in the early to mid 80s, but that's 40 years ago now. So as much as people are trying to, like, you know, justify, is this a viable industry? And for people that are not here, or for people that are just learning about the industry, of course it is, and it's based on, like I said, the data that's being produced. But most importantly too, this isn't the first time that this has happened. You know, we're just at a time now where, yes, we're reinventing the wheel, so to speak. So I think that in itself was probably a good learning curve for me to realize that, yeah, like, this has happened before, will happen again. So it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. Don't you agree with that?
Completely agree. I think, you know, it's funny, even when we talk to people, to sort of ground that a little bit, people say, oh, psilocybin, that's old news. Oh, MDMA, that's old news. We're working on XYZ unique molecule, which I understand, but I don't see MDMA clinics open yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see psilocybin clinics open yet. Let's get grounded. Let's get off of the ground. Let's focus on accessibility.
Yep.
Every deck has this slide that shows, $1 trillion this addressable market, all this kind of stuff. So if that's true, which we all agree that it is, and we have the data to support that, then why are we not focusing on that addressable need and starting to address that market? There's tons of room for innovation, but let's not put the cart before the horse and focus on, big downstream innovation before we even got accessible treatments out yet.
What'd you think of Compass's results with the endpoints?
I think if you look at the data, the initial results from right after dosing, super compelling. Super compelling. Huge effect in the study. The long-term effects drop off, and I think that shows the limitations of clinical research. 2 integration sessions. People need care and support, and for us, frankly, it was very validating in terms of the need for a clinical care model. Right? Say you go in for knee surgery, right? You go in for knee surgery, huge intervention, right? If you came to me after your knee surgery and I say, so here's your rehab, 2 physiotherapy appointments.
I know.
It's no way.
I know.
There's no way. You need proper care and support.
I had an interview yesterday with Evan Britton. Fascinating guy. And he's telling me in a lot of ways when it comes to addiction, it's like going through the 12-step program of AA in like 15 minutes. That's a lot of obviously life-changing and emotion.
Right, but you got to be able to unpack that. Right, and I think, if you talk to the underground community, the conversation around integration is always the most important conversation. Right. And I think the thing to recognize with psychedelic therapy, everybody talks about it's 10 years of psychotherapy in one session. It's a start
for a new lifestyle.
Exactly.
Right? It's not like going for some sort of treatment and then you can go have a sandwich.
Right.
But at least, I don't want to go exercise. But through this, you will want to go and exercise and do yoga and meditation and required work, correct?
And it's tangible. Right? Like it instead of, again, looking at treatment-resistant depression as an example, right? A 10-year cycle of, I've tried this therapy, I've tried that therapy, I've tried, misdiagnosis, mistreatment, my symptoms are getting worse and worse and worse over time, and then ending up at psychedelic therapy at the end. It should be putting that at the beginning, a person seeing a significant shift in their life, becoming very passionate about their mental health and their well-being, and then as they continue on that journey, potentially for the rest of their lives, tangible benefits, preventative mental health, not getting more and more depressed.
Big excitement in you, huh?
I'm excited, man. I think
so. Big takeaway again for people that haven't made it. There's a lot of positive feedback here for a couple of days. What's your biggest takeaway for investors that want to get into this space, and more importantly for your company? Because I know with your collaboration, I forgot even to ask you about. Got a chance to see Rick this week, and how was that?
Amazing. I think obviously if you look at the MAPS data, super compelling, similar sort of thing. The only I think more exciting thing about the MAPS data, and I think this is because MAPS understands psychedelics, right? 80% of people saw a significant reduction in their symptoms. 66% no longer met the PTSD criteria.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And those numbers go up over time.
That's crazy. And you
Not
start
go down.
that. That's your threshold. Think about that.
So what that tells me, and again, I know the MAPS protocol because we're helping carry it out. I know how much ongoing support there is. And that's what makes that number continue to go up. Becoming more and more mainstream, is it not? 100%. 100%.
This has been great.
Yeah, man.
I think I want to stay down here, though, huh?
Sunshine. Sunshine.
Good stuff, brother. Good seeing you in person.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you as well.